All right, we are live. Welcome everyone to the 2020 Wildomar City Council Candidate Forum. My name is Patrick Ellis. I'm President and CEO of the Murrieta Wildomar Chamber of Commerce and your host for this evening. I would like to thank Southwest Riverside County Association of Realtors for partnering with us on this endeavor again. I would like to thank the candidate thank her for participating this evening. Unfortunately, Mr. Mays emailed me today with the following email. After careful consideration, I have decided not to participate in the Murrieta Chamber Forum. My reasoning is the long-time relationship with the Murrieta Chamber of Commerce and my opponent creates a conflict of interest that denies impartiality. For this reason, I feel that the Murrieta Chamber of Commerce is unqualified to host a fair debate for the people of Wildomar. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to a debate moderated by an impartial organization, Kenny Mays. So unfortunately, Kenny will not be with us tonight. I did email him and assure him that we do not run debates. We have never run debates. We only run candidate forums, which offers an opportunity for equal opportunities and an equal playing field for all of the candidates. So before we get started, though, I would like to share some information about voting this year because it is very important in obviously new times with COVID-19 as to what is going to take place regarding voting. So I want to make sure that everyone understands. So by executive order, to help slow the spread of COVID-19, all voters will receive a vote by mail ballot. They will begin to be mailed on Monday, October 5th. Voters are encouraged to use the ballot drop boxes as soon as they receive their ballots. There will be a drop box at City Hall and at the City Library. The ballots are collected by the Registrar of Voters staff every few days and are under lock and key in the interim. These ballots are then verified as containing accurate signatures of the voter and then prepared for counting after the close of the polls on November 3rd. The sooner you submit your ballot, the easier and faster it will be to begin counting once the polls close. In addition to voting with your vote by mail ballot, you have the option of voting in person at any one of the 120 voter assistance centers in the county. The voter assistance centers will be open beginning 8 a.m. on Saturday, October 31st, and will be open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday the 31st, Sunday the 1st, and Monday the 2nd. And then on the 3rd, they will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you don't wish to vote by mail or put your vote by mail ballot in the drop-off boxes, you can vote in person on a machine during these 4 days. If you have already cast your vote by mail ballot and it has been verified by the county in their system, the voter will not be able to vote in person. If the voter votes in person and their vote by mail ballot is submitted later, the vote by mail ballot will not be counted. The voter assistance centers use real-time voter verification to determine if the voter has already voted. Scenarios such as voting in Palm Springs and driving to Wildomar and voting again would not be allowed because the system is in real time. Whether using your vote by mail ballot or voting in person, voters are encouraged to vote early and not wait until November 3rd, so as to minimize wait times and make it easier to begin counting ballots after the close of polls at 8 p.m. on the 3rd. The last day to register to vote is October 19th. If you have moved since the last election, you must register. The post office is prohibited by law from forwarding vote by mail ballots or election materials. So thank you very much. And that's a lot of V words. So for the candidates forum this evening, we asked the public for questions to be submitted to the chamber ahead of time. We received many questions, so I may not be able to get to all of them, but I do want to thank those who did submit their questions. So even though we do have just one of the candidates present tonight, we'll still abide by the rules of engagement. So the candidate will be given 2 minutes for their opening statement. After the opening statements, we will begin the questions. The candidate will have 1 minute to answer the question. At conclusion of the questions, the candidate will have 1 minute for a closing statement. The order will be reverse of the opening statements. So you'll go first, but then you'll go last at the end. So on to the question. So Bridgette Moore, I want to thank you for joining this evening. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to you for your opening statements, which you'll have 2 minutes for.
Thank you. And I just want to make sure everyone knows I received no preferential treatment from the chamber. So I just want to get that on the record. My name is Bridgette Moore, and I'm running for District 4. My family and I have lived in Wildomar since 1998. We moved here when my son Jake was a year old. Having moved a lot in my childhood, I really wanted to find a home and where I could put down roots. And living in Wildomar has done that. The house we purchased was near a park, and I loved taking my son down on the stroller to the park. Well, the next year, the park closed. We weren't a city then, and so I started attending the Municipal Advisory Council meetings, MAC meetings, and asking how can the parks get reopened? Well, some of you know if you start asking questions, you're going to be put on a committee. So myself and other residents fought to bring parks back to Wildomar, and we did. 2007, the parks were reopened. Meanwhile, Murrieta was trying to annex a portion of us. And so I started volunteering for the Wildomar Incorporation Now Committee and helped assist in making Wildomar into a city. So not many people can say that they've helped make a city. I love living in Wildomar, and this is my passion is serving, and our Wildomar community is safe, and I want to keep it that way. My vision is to make sure we have enough public safety to always keep Wildomar safe, and we love living in our community. Bridgette Moore for District 4.
Great, thank you very much. All right, so we'll go jump into our questions now. I think some of what you touched on in your opening statement there, so maybe you can give you an opportunity to maybe elaborate on some of them. So first question is, since this is a lot like a job interview, so can you give us a little bit of your background, educational background, work history, current employment, that type of thing?
Okay. So for my day job, I work at Cash Call Mortgage. We are a lender for home purchases and refinances. I do work in the Treasury Department. I manage all the cash management. And I have to say, our budget is much larger than the city's. So I do have a finance background. I currently am actually going back to school, though, for Parks and Rec degree because I just love putting on the Parks and Rec programs. I have volunteered for several organizations in our community. So I have been awarded Community Volunteer of the Year in 2009, Citizen of the Year in 2012, the Elks Distinguished Citizenship for 2019. And for the city of Wildomar, I was the first woman mayor in 2010 and served as mayor again in 2016.
Thank you. What inspired you to run for city council?
Well, I'm not done making a difference, and I thought I would be, but I'm not. And I am not a talker. I am a doer. And I just see that there are still things that we need to get done. And I still want to be a part of those things. I support all residents of Wildomar, from our youth, our Wildomar Little League, Boy Scouts, Girl Scout projects, all the way to our senior citizens. I volunteer. I've put on projects at the Wildomar Senior Center. And I just want to continue to serve our community and improve the quality of life for all our residents. For roads, because I know that's a big issue right now, we just finished paving 11 roads in our community, and we're not done. As soon as that project was done, we started working on the next batch of roads, and we're not going to stop.
All right. So what is your vision for the city of Wildomar?
So I agree with the city council adopted vision statement. The city of Wildomar will be a safe and active community with responsible growth and quality infrastructure with a hometown feel. Everything we do needs to go to that vision. The first thing right now is we need to overcome the latest obstacle, which is the pandemic. But after that, we need to continue to thrive. I envision a continued safe community with our top public safety partners, and including building a second fire station on the east side of the freeway. I also want to see a cleaner Wildomar. Councilman Morabito and I had started picking up litter along our roadways, and it has started a movement. We're getting great participation, and our residents really want to be involved, and so that is great. I also have supported and will continue to support SWAG, Social Work Action Group, who are helping our individuals experiencing homelessness.
Great. Let's see. So I have a feeling I know the answer to this question. Do you see Wildomar as heading in the right direction or the wrong direction, and why?
We are heading in the right direction. We've overcome obstacles after obstacles, but now, the passage of Measure AA, the hiring of Economic Development Director for the first time, we are headed in the right direction.
All right. Our next question is, so a council member needs support from a majority of the council to pass resolutions and ordinances. What experience do you have in consensus building, and can you give a quick example?
Okay, so the first example that comes to mind actually was the opposite kind of a consensus building. It was our cannabis issue. And we did a study. So District 4, the majority of the voters that did answer the study were against cannabis. So I personally, I do not care if you partake in cannabis, that is fine. I don't want to tell you what you do in your house. But so it didn't go the way, right? There was 3-2. But besides having that, we really need healthy discussion, and that's what we had. The 5 council members I listed to, all the council members, they all had good points, and having that healthy discussion, robust discussion, coming to the final vote, but then moving on. So however the vote goes, Councilman Swanson and I, we can still go further. We don't hold grudges. You want to get together. So besides building consensus, it's that you can come to a vote and still move forward for the betterment of Wildomar.
Thank you. When put in a position where state law and federal law contradict each other, such as marijuana, which do you look to base your vote on, federal or state?
It has to depend on the issue. I mean, the states can have their own laws. And so Prop 64 did legalize cannabis in Wildomar. But you have to look further down into your community. What does your community want? And we did a study. And the study was the same study with the same company we used when we put the parks on the ballot, same company we used when we put Measure A on the ballot. And that same study said, no, the residents do not want dispensaries or grow or any sort of cannabis operations. And so for the districts, the majority was no. So back to the question, I really think that it depends. You have to look at the issue, you have to look at all sides, you have to see why are they different also.
Okay. So there are issues that the city faces regarding infrastructure that challenge development. What do you see as the role of the city in regard to these issues?
I would say right now the challenge would be roads, like I had mentioned earlier. And we did do the passage of Measure AA, so that will assist. Our staff is great about going out for any sort of grant opportunities, and we have received millions of dollars of grant opportunities to assist in infrastructure, assist in flood infrastructure, assist in sidewalks and bike trails and pedestrian trails. So we need to do what we can to make Wildomar walkable and livable and family friendly for the businesses, so that the businesses do want to come here. And then that does bring in funding so we can provide more services to the residents. So it's really goes around. We need to all work together to make that happen.
Good. All right. So one important task for the city council members is to work closely with the city manager. How would you assess the performance of the city manager? If you could elaborate on that a little bit.
Yes, we've actually been very lucky. We had our interim city manager, and then we've had 2 city managers since, and all 3 work well with the council. So we do provide direction. We do annual to go over all the issues that we had, and so we all work well together. The city manager is hands-on. Our city manager sleeps in the park when we have our park, we have our camp out in the park. So he's very hands-on in tending the, uh, being responsive to the residents and tending the meetings. He's always right there. So we get along, all our staff actually is wonderful and we all get along well. When none of this backstabbing, throwing each other under the bus. I do hear that sometimes when I go to other events, you know, like League of California Cities, I hear about other cities, but that isn't Wildomar. Wildomar is different.
Thank you. So what, in your opinion, will be the greatest challenges that the city will face in the next 5 years?
We need to bring in economic development. But like I said, we're poised now with having Kimberly Davidson on board. And actually, we just, at the last city council meeting, authorized a study to be done by Cosmont. And that study will show us what is needed here, what would complement here, and complement also the region. So having those two now on board, you know, this is so wonderful. Wildomar will see what kind of economic development can come in, because our challenge is sales tax. I mean, we do need to bring in businesses. We do need to bring in that revenue so we can provide more services. So we're happy. We're very happy to have those two things on board now.
Okay. If you could only name one significant achievement as your legacy when you leave council, what would that be?
When I leave council, well, I think just moving everything forward with the city being really responsive to the residents. We've done so many great projects, and I think I've definitely have left a mark and legacy. You know, before council, I have to say it was parks, and then afterwards, just bringing up a city, we have no debt, just having everything we had to go through, and we're still here and functioning and thriving and moving into the future. So I definitely had a mark in helping all of that to grow.
Great. You kind of already touched on this a little bit, but maybe you can expand a little bit more on it. Is how important is economic development to you, and how will you assist in making Wildomar a vibrant community?
So the first two things were hiring Kimberly Davidson, and the second thing was doing this Cosmont study. So we're anxious to see what this is going to say, because we really do want to bring in, you know, better dining and maybe some entertainment, some type of, I see like tasting rooms or wineries, you know, something so our residents are having to leave the town to go get some entertainment. They want to do date night here. They don't want to be far away. They can just Uber, Lyft over to Clayton Keith and then go back home. So we have attended ICSC in the past. We do want to attend. We were actually, it was on my calendar to attend this year, but we need to do what we can to assist. And we're always assisting our businesses. I support small businesses. I are with the businesses just right now at the patio dining. We were instantly approving those plans so they could do the outdoor dining, and constantly trying to pivot during this pandemic.
Thank you. What do you see as the biggest obstacles to bring business? So let me go back a second here, because these are two questions and they're kind of tied together. So I'll set that up a little bit first. So the first question is, so what do you see as the biggest obstacles to bringing business with quality jobs to the city?
So we do need to work on our infrastructure also, which is including Bundy Canyon. That's a major thoroughfare between the 15 and the 215. So projects like that, which we just started, we just approved the first segment, $7 million for the first segment of Bundy Canyon. But we need also that we finished Clayton Keith, but that's one thing we did during my time so far is the Clayton Keith widening. And now we're going to be working on the Bundy Canyon, but we need to get those types of infrastructure in place so we can get the larger businesses to come in.
Okay. And then what do you think are solutions to removing those obstacles so employers will want to locate here?
Continue to work on those projects. Like I said, we're going out for grants. We always are looking for the next grant to help with it, because it's funding, right? how are you going to do this big project? It always comes back to money. And so finding those funding opportunities, working with RCTC and WRCOG and all our regional partners in providing those, the funding that we can use to fix the infrastructure, widen the infrastructure so that business will want to come in.
Thank you. In many cities in California, they have adopted public policies favoring mixed uses in their land use maps, incorporating buildings that offer retail on the ground floor, office on the second floor, or residential on the third floor. What is your position on mixed use development in the city of Wildomar?
Yes, mixed use is definitely, I like mixed use. I also wonder now after the pandemic how that is going to change some of these projects or some of these buildings, how that's going to happen. But if we can, I was actually on a webinar today about millennials and what they're looking into, and really having everything in a compact space. So you live there, you can work there, you can shop there, and so you're not having to leave and drive out to other cities. So yes, mixed use is definitely an option.
Great. So now I have two questions around propositions that are on the ballot. The chamber does take positions on certain propositions if they affect business. So these are two of the main ones that we're watching this year. So the first one is Prop 15, which is better known as the split roll tax. Where do you stand on this proposition?
I'll be voting no. This will be taxing our business properties, which then they're going to be turned into, so if you have a center and then they're going to be taxed, they're going to be taxing their businesses that are in there renting or leasing. And then what are they going to do? They're going to turn around and add it to the price. So it really comes back to the consumer. So no, I'll be voting no on Prop 15.
Great. Prop 22, better known as the app-based independent contractor proposition. Where do you stand on this proposition?
Yes, I'll be voting yes on this proposition. The citizens need a choice. If you want to work an independent job, then that should be your choice. And you know that when you go to apply for that job.
Thank you. Okay, we're on to our speed round already. So I've got a few questions for you that are more or less one answer, one word, one answer question. So which constituency would you say that you identify with most? Youth, seniors, long-term residents, new residents, business, or is there another category that you would consider you align with?
Can I say all? I mean, I have served the community for 20 years, so I resonate with the new timers, the old timers, business, everyone.
Okay. All right. So I think you kind of mentioned this earlier, but how long have you lived in Wildomar?
Now 22 years.
So do you or have you ever owned a business?
Yeah, kind of. So my mother-in-law had a business and we worked there, but no, we didn't technically own it.
Okay. And I know this will be your favorite question. Did you complete your census questionnaire?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yes.
All right. So those are the questions that we have for tonight. I do want to thank you for answering all the questions and for taking the time to do this. It is now your time to offer your closing statement. So you have 1 minute for that. So Bridgette, the floor is yours.
Okay. So I love serving our community. It is my passion, but not, even though I live in District 4, I actually serve all the city of Wildomar, and I represent the city of Wildomar on other regional boards. Currently, I am the chairwoman for the Riverside Transit Agency. So like I said, it's not just District 4, even though that's where I live. I'm very accessible. I put out my phone number and email all the time. If you have an issue and an issue is important to you, I will listen. I will take appropriate action when necessary. I'm Phil, I'm not done giving back to my community, so I would really appreciate your support for Bridgette Moore for District 4.
Great. Thank you very much. I want to thank you for your participation again. Thank everyone for tuning in. Thank Southwest Riverside County Association of Realtors for their partnership. Make sure that you get out and vote. This is obviously an extremely important year, but your vote has a big impact on all of our lives every single day. So please take that time. Make sure you get educated regarding all the issues on the ballot this year. As I said earlier, the Wildomar Chamber of Commerce does take positions on a number of ballot initiatives this year. So as we close out the broadcast, we're going to put up a list of those propositions and where we stand on those, just so everyone is aware. And if they have questions, they can feel free to reach out to us. But I want to thank you all again. I want you to stay positive, but not COVID positive. Be safe, everyone.
Thank you.